So this video is to query assets in TMS. And what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be stepping through the basics on how I'm going to be querying a particular group of devices within a segment, but this tool can actually be expanded even further, and I'll touch base on this later. So I'm just going to go through the basics here. I'm going to be looking for ConMed 5000 devices under the PHC segment. So usually if you don't know the asset, we'll go through from the top down there. You don't know the asset number, you're not too sure what the asset description is. Manufacturer, I'm not too sure if it's still ConMed or not. Original manufacturer, model number. So I would not enter 5000 in the model number. Model number is particularly referenced to that label that was attached to the device. Is it a 56737 System 5000, or is it a System 5000? So I go skip to model name because I know the model name will actually reference both the part number and the common name of this device. And because I know 5000 for sure is in there, I'm going to go star 5000 star. Now, if there was anything else that you knew, you would be scrolling down there and adding that information to kind of help you along. I'm going to just query the active assets at the very bottom there. I don't care about the retired or the inactive or pending. So 5000, and the same thing on this other side is that you would, if you were just going in particular to a site, you would add that information as well. Or the department, like for sure it's just the OR that you're looking for, or the team, etc., etc. So we're just going to go basic here and go into execute. And what will pop up is all assets that have 5000 in their name. So you can see that it's got a Mac 5000, but it also has our System 5000s. Now we get into the fun stuff where we're actually going to narrow down our search. So we're going to group by first. This is one of my favorites, is that I'm going to group by model name. So what I'll do is I'll take the model names that are alike and I'll group them all together. And it makes it easier for you to visualize where we're at. So you can see now I can see my System 5000s in there. And then if you open it, it'll say that it has 37 assets there, and you can see in particular what they are, and you can actually open them up and see their work order history relevant to these devices there. There you go. So you can see, you can go through a regular asset work order record. And but now we've opened it up. How did we get back to our list? Well, it's easy as clicking list, and it goes back to the original view. So you don't have to go back and query this all over again. So now that we're back there, we're going to ungroup these back again, and I'm going to show you another way to look for them. Is the filter mechanism. So on the right hand side there, you can actually filter these devices. So we're going to go filter, and then you would put it maybe by manufacturer, and you know now that they're ConMed with the star here. Always make sure you put your asterisks in if you're going to do short form. And now you can see it filtered them just by the manufacturer. And then now you can export them into, so we're going to just go into export into Excel. Rarely do you use the PDF version unless you're really sure about the data. I always like to manipulate it in Excel. So you can name it whatever you want to name it. Is what your title will be is how you're going to save it onto your desktop or in your shared. And then you would click OK, and you would manipulate in Excel. So anyways, we're not going to do that. I just wanted to show you how to export it. The other thing is that your results viewer. I don't know how many people are actually using this right now, but I feel like this would be a great time to touch base on this, is that you can actually change your column views based on these presets that we have. So if we click on another one, you can see that it completely changes the look of your queried fields. So it's got more or less information. The other thing that you may want to do is add and remove columns, which will be right here. It's the select columns. And so when you're in here, if you say you want to know the old asset number versus the new asset number, you'd go through and you would say, okay, what does it show up in your asset form? And you go and you try to find it in here. I think it's called old asset. So it says in relatively in alphabetical order. Original asset number, I see it. And you click there, and you click OK. So now it'll show up somewhere in here. Now I don't know. You can actually drag and drop these into whatever order you want before you export them into Excel. I usually go into Excel and manipulate it, but you can actually do it right in TMS by drag and drop. So going back to fine-tuning our query, I'm going to show you the big green button that fine-tunes our query function. So up on the top of the query, beside the looking glass, is your return to query function. And that's really, if you've found your devices, but you just wanted to fine-tune stuff, you can add it there. So now we know it's command, we could have added it there. But more importantly, with the tabs on the assets here, you can query anything. So you say you wanted to narrow down when these devices were brought into the TMS. Maybe you want to know if the warranties are up. You could fill into the warranty information there. If you want to know what was acquired by donation as opposed to capital purchase, or in the life cycle, say you want to know if any of them have an end of life showing up in there. So in this case, you would probably put into, you would go into your advanced query, and then you would go, let's see here. It should have something about empty. Is not empty. So when you use the is not empty function, it actually looks for anything that has been populated inside there. These fields are filled in by your administrator. So if there has been an end of life letter showing up on these things, if you put as is not empty, it will return any devices that have had end of life letters showing on there. So if we hit the query now, I don't think any of these have been end of life yet. Yeah, so it just shows that none of these devices that I've been querying have an end of life letter on them. But these are other things that you can think of when you're doing your asset queries. Now, the tools that we've shown now are also usable in your work order function. The schedules have a different feel to them, so we'll probably touch base on those later in another video. But the basic principles are you can do the basic query, which is star 5000 star, or you can use your advanced query functions. And just keep in mind that any of these fields that you see in front of you and the tabs on the left-hand side are all queryable functions, and they can help you isolate which devices you're looking for.